Hello and welcome back to Jackknives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jackknife, and welcome once again to Jack-O-Ween. Today we look at a movie that's still in the vampire genre, but it actually takes an old concept story and flips it into a newer modern context. So let's look at The Last Voyage of the Demeter. In 1897, the cargo ship the Demeter takes aboard several mysterious crates, with one having the symbol of a dragon. As the voyage goes on, a mysterious woman is found inside one of the crates. Meanwhile, all the animals are picked off one by a mysterious creature. This woman tells the crew of their doom by the mysterious creature her people call Dracula. What I love about this movie is it takes this whole narrative, basically doing almost a prequel to Nosferatu, playing on what did happen on the voyage. It plays into a lot of building tension. The entire movie mostly is building tension, waiting for the pounce to strike. And if you're not really into that sort of genre, that sort of slower paced historical horror drama, then this may not be right for you. But what I loved and appreciated about it is it played it 100% serious. They played Dracula as he's depicted in Nosferatu, more of a creature than a man. Now, generally, adaptations of Dracula focus more on the man element than they do the creature element. This flips that in reverse. You barely recognize this thing as a man. And the way it slinks around the ship, the way it flies, the way it crawls, the way it attacks, it's really interesting the way they do it. Also, some of the things that happens to specific victims is really interesting and fascinating because it plays on the conventional aspects that we know now as vampires, but back then must have been an utter horror and shock. But it does kind of twist a couple things here and there too. Liam Cunningham, who most of you probably know from Game of Thrones, plays Captain Elliot, and he brings a real sense of a old historic ship captain, and I love him for it because he has this really stoicness about him. In all the roles that Liam Cunningham does, he has this really sense of seriousness no matter what. He's always just very, very dark and serious. The main actor, Corey Hawkins, is pretty good. He just doesn't really have much to work with. Majority of the movie, he's kind of just explaining than he is actually doing. The cast are kind of holding the weight as far as, oh, this is how the ship works, this is how we operate, this is what we do, this is how we signal, it's more explaining, which is kind of a fault of the movie in the sense of, don't over-explain, because then you bore the audience. But overall, I thought it was a great movie, and the only downside was it came out at the same time that Barbie and Oppenheimer did, so not many people got to go see it. Luckily, I was one of the few that got to see it in theaters, and I do recommend seeing it on a big screen or a big enough screen and with a good surround sound, because the aspects of the boat and the vibe and the darkness add so much more elements if you see it in a bigger scope. Before we go, let's take another look into our random skull of madness. Ichi the Killer. Till next time.